Master your mindset. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello and welcome to day 2 of Master Your Mindset, the 6th annual global summit from Coaching Minds, an EMCC accredited coaching school. For those joining us for the first time, my name is Julie Blint and I'm an EMCC accredited coach thanks to Coaching Minds, and I'll be your host today. Across the 3 days of the summit, Coaching Minds coaches are sharing their knowledge, experience, and practical approaches to mindset and personal growth. Each session explores a different aspect of how we think, how we live, and how we create meaningful change, followed by a live Q&A with a speaker. We're beginning day 2 with my good friend Augusto Modigliani, an EMCC accredited coach, former Big Four consultant, and tech leader. Through Digital Zero, Augusto helps people and families in particular reclaim their attention from the constant pull of screens. His session explores something many of us will recognize: being constantly connected, but not always really present. Augusto will look at why we have become so uncomfortable with boredom and stillness, what our constant connection may be costing us, and how we can begin to reclaim more quiet and presence in our lives. So, welcome, Augusto.
Hi, Julie. Thank you so much for inviting me here, and thank you for to Coaching Minds that not only trained me as a coach, but also, is giving me this opportunity to talk today.
And introduce you to me.
Well, you already did a great job. I wouldn't do it any better. I've been working in technology for many years. I had different roles in technology, going from being a chief product officer, a chief marketing officer, and I was involved with some technology that now is really common, like AI, in the really early days. So I kind of saw the beginning of it and the development. I helped build some product around it, and at a certain point, I realized that there was something that was not going in the right direction, at least to me. Thanks to my daughter, I have a 15 years old daughter, and I realized then that we were heading towards a direction that I was not really comfortable with, and that where there were a lot of families struggling like I was struggling. And I decided then to do something about it in the small possible way that I can do, which is kind of share some of the knowledge and help families, especially those families that are not, they cannot access other type of helps. And through coaching, I can do that. So, and that's why I developed Digital Zero, and is a platform that helps families that are struggling with children that are addicted to technology. But in the end, it's also for adults as well, because a family is built around adults and children. And as I usually like to say, there is not a child that was born with a telephone in their hands. Somebody must have put it there, and that is more or less where this little story started. Say.
So you were part of the problem and you decided to be part of the solution.
Well, we are all part of the problem, I must say, in one way or another. I did work in an industry that actually is kind of leading the problem, I would say.
Mention no names, though.
No, mention no names, no need. I mean, the names are already there. So if you want, we can start. I mean, we can take this little journey together, and I will share some things that I know, and see if people are already aware or not, and we can do some reflection together in the end.
Yeah. So for everyone listening out there, we'll have 15 minutes at the end to ask Augusto our questions, and they can be related to what he has explained to us throughout his session, or if you are interested in Digital Zero and more about what he does, it can be about that as well. So please do ask any questions that you have during that moment, but if you want to, you can also put your questions or comments in the chat as we go along. So Augusto, over to you.
Great. So let's start with the presentation. So you already know that we call this this presentation the Boredom Survival Kit. It's not a coincidence that it's called like this. I pay a lot of attention on being bored. It is something that is really relevant to children in their most crucial years. And we will understand this as we go on with the presentation. So I will ask you to do something. If you will do something together with me, please. I would like you, the one, that are connected right now, that they have a phone, but even if you will watch this presentation, on a later date. So I would like you to take your phone, your mobile phone, and go into settings, find screen time, and then press screen time and find your daily average use of your telephone. If you can do that, I will give you a minute to do that, please. I'm doing it as well, eh? Let me know if you find it. Okay, I see that somebody put 14 hours. It's not necessary that you write it down. I just need you to tell me that you found it or you didn't find it. And it's irrelevant data as well if you didn't find your daily usage, because maybe it's not set it up, or you don't know how to look for it. It should be in settings, screen time, and daily average. So as you're looking for this number, and I would like you to look at this number, if you can find it, and remember this number. Okay, I see 3.5 hours, I see 14 hours. Just take your time, look for this number, and keep it. So there is a study that says that in 2013, the average usage of our internet, so our connected with the phone or without the phone, the time that we were connected to internet, the average was 6 hours, 6 hours and something. And then in 2019 went up to close to 6.7 hours, and then during the pandemic we went up to almost 7 hours a day, because we were all working from home and we were home a lot, and we could not go out of the house. Then after the pandemic, we went down. In 2022, we went down to again below 7 hours, 0.7. And now in 2025, we started to go back up again. And the average right now is considered to be 6 hours and 45 minutes a day. This is an average. What happens? I show you immediately what happens. So let's say that we are connected not 6 hours and 45 minutes, but we are connected 4 hours and 37 minutes. So that seems like an okay number, okay? That translates to 1,700 hours every year. If we take that 1,700 in a year and we stretch it to 40 years of our life, what do you think the result will be? I'll tell you what the result will be. The result will be that in 40 years, we will spend 7 to 8 years of our life on the phone, meaning 24 hours. The actual number should be 7.7. That's why I put 7 to 8 years. But this is the number of years that you will spend connected to a mobile phone or to the internet. So let's do this together. I would like you to do another thing for me. I would like you to take your phone and turn it off. I'm turning it off mine right now. My phone is going off right now. Okay, so let me know if you turned off your telephone or you didn't turn it off. It was a request, but it was not mandatory, but it was a request. I would like to know from you if you did actually turn it off. So Julie say, I can because I want to interact in the chat, okay? Anybody else? Okay, Nadine say, I turn it off mine. Sylvia just did it. Okay, so a lot of brave people here. I just did it. Razan did it. Okay, great. So you guys turn it off. I just wanted to explain you a little bit about what you just turned it off. You just turned off what is considered nowadays a companion. So that companion is staying next to you all day. It sleeps next to you many times. That companion holds all of your secrets. That companion goes in places that you would not allow other people to come, like to the bathroom. The companion is the one that you touch many times last before going to sleep, and you touch first before when you wake up. That companion holds all many of your moments, like the photos of your vacation, of your events, or that companion is always with you, and it's there for you. And many people do not ever turn it off. So how many, just a second. So there was a study done in 2016 that was measuring how many times people would check a phone. So remember, it was 10 years ago. The online world was a little bit different than what it is today. It was less developed, and we were doing way less things. But the study understood that for people in general would check their phone 47 times during the day. When you went to an age of younger people, was a little bit above that, and more or less 88% of the people would check their phone 30 minutes after they were awakened. So they would wake up, and almost everybody within 30 minutes would check their phone. So I would like to understand, or at least I would like you to guess how much has changed. Meaning, there was a study done in 2026, similar study with a wider range of interviewed, but more or less they were checking the same thing. So I would like to understand if you could forecast how many times people check their phone during the day. And if you can, please put it in the chat. I know it's not an easy calculation. It's not easy to do. So I see Mama Ray say 150 times. We have Donna saying 205. Then I see, I'm guessing about 150 times. I see another 250 times. So we are saying about between 150 and 100 and 250. You guys are very good, because they found out that people check their phone 186 times. This was a big number of people that they interview. And so from the first study they did, 10 years after, we multiply by 4 the number that they recollected, back then. So 85% of the people actually now check their phone within the first 10 minutes that they wake up, and 50% of the people sleep with their phone next to them. This phone, I already told you, knows anything about you, all of your secrets. This phone is always present in your life. It is next to you also in the financial way, because with the home banking, so you do a lot of work through the phone, and it's becoming more and more a necessity, more than just something that is just a tool. So one thing that reconnects to the title of this presentation, I want you to remember when you were a kid. I put 9 years old. It could be 7, it could be 5, or it could be 10. And they were, I'm talking about personal experience. I remember my summers, they were really long, and I lived in a really small town next to a big town, but not close enough to the big town to be able to go there. And so my summer were very long and very boring. I remember spending full afternoons, inventing things to do, and playing in fields. And that, to me, was the most amazing time that I can remember in my life. It was the moment where we have the time and the energy to develop ourselves, to fly with our mind, to invent things. And we didn't have any connection, of course, with internet or anything like that. But we had the opportunity to develop our imagination. So solitude and being bored as a role in a development. I know that, for example, connected to this chat today, there is like people like Donna. We spoke often about, she's an educator, so she was a teacher, and we talked a lot about how it's important to get bored, and how it's important to be able to develop your own tools. But nowadays it's very difficult. Telephones and internet and technology is really engaging with people in a way that people do not like to feel bored anymore. It is done this by design. It is not a coincidence. It's not that something that happened by just a coincidence. It is something that is designed, and it is like this because they want it to be like this. So just a second, sorry. So what happened when we use our phone, especially when children use the phone, but adults as well, because the mechanism is exactly the same. So we're playing a game that we cannot win. It's simple as that. The way, for example, social media are working are very similar to a slot machine, and it's built to keep you engaged. It plays on the release of dopamine, which is this neurotransmitter that actually is the anticipation neurotransmitter that gives us pleasure. And when you are in front of a slot machine, for many people, pushing the button and wait for the result of it gives them a little bit of pleasure, and the brain release a little bit of dopamine, and that's what keeps them engaged. This is what happens with people that are ludopathic and have a problem with gambling. Same mechanism happens with social media, exactly the same. So when you are scrolling, same mechanism. When you post something and you're waiting for likes, same mechanism. And if you ever notice, that people are scrolling like this and scrolling like this and scrolling like this, it's very similar to a slot machine. It is built by intention. It is a game that we cannot win. It is a game that was designed that way by neuroscientists, and it is a multi-billion industry against our will. So it is clear that it is not something that we can win, but we can learn, and we can learn how to deal with it, and we can learn how to have a better relationship with it. So to be clear, social media will not disappear, and technology will not stop, AI will not stop. But if we establish rules with it, and we establish what makes us feel good and what doesn't make us feel good, and we don't get confused anymore by it, we can have a way better life, and especially our children can have a way better life. So there are three things that keeps us connected to a fear. So a lot of people have what they call a FOMO, fear of missing out. So a lot of our social life has moved into social media, and social media, there are people posting stories, they're posting whatever, their vacation, or you name it. So people are afraid of missing out, are afraid to not be part of the group. So they are constantly checking their phone. From my client, I hear stories of people waking up at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning to check the phone because they're afraid of missing something out. Obligation, the obligation, and we will talk more about a little bit after when I will tell you a personal story, is that some people feel obligated to reply, otherwise they will not be part of the club anymore. And then we lost the ability and the habit of being alone, and that's the last component of it. And this is where we are today. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is the same. I'm not saying that, but when we come from an experience like mine with children, with teenagers and technology, this is what I encountered. So there was a study, and there's another study about teenagers in the US that are almost constantly connected. And just to let you know the difference between 2014, the guys or the girls, whatever, that were constantly connected were 24%. In 10 years, we went up to 46%. So it doubled it. Constantly connected, that means that they're connected day and night, and they're connected during the whole day, during the whole night. Just a little thing that I want to share with you so you understand how we got here. You need to understand one thing. I don't blame technology. I'm not against technology. I am not saying that you should not use technology. I just think that you should know what it's about, and that you should understand, and they should tell you when something is doing something to you, like collecting your data, for example, or an algorithm is making decision for you. This is what happened from the 60s to make you understand that we are an adaptive species. So humans have been adapting to a lot of things through history. Well, in the last 64 years, 66 years, we have done the same thing. We have been adapting at the speed that was never, I mean, at least not to my knowledge, that is unprecedented. It was in 60 years, something amazing happened. So in the 60s, we know that we had television, we had radios, we had basically basic appliance, electronic appliance. It could be a radio, it could be a disc player, it could be a dishwasher. But that was the 60s. Then in the 70s, ARPANET happened. ARPANET, what it is, for people that are not, they don't know about it, it was a military experiment, and it was basically the beginning of the internet. It was developed for military communication, and then they started to exchange messages. There was the first test of exchanging messaging, and then the first personal computer were appearing, but of course they're very different from what we have today. So in the 80s, then 60 washing machine, 70 ARPANET started. So everything was, in 10 years was going pretty slow. Then in the 80s, we started with the mobile phone. And of course, they are not the mobile phone that we have now. They were like, big, heavy suitcases with a phone or something like this. Then towards the end of the 80s, the CD player appeared, and the TCP/IP internet was starting to show up. And in the 90s, when we started to see the big change. So the World Wide Web was developed and was available. The first browser, Google, came out in 98. So within, the 60s, the washing machine, and in a couple of decades, we entered in the World Wide Web and the browser. And, we were adapting to this. So then in 10 years after, we had the Wi-Fi, we had the Facebook, first social media in 2004. And in 2007/2008, the iPhone came out and was the first mobile phone that was actually using internet. They had some attempt before, but they didn't work. And that was a game changer, because 10 years after, of course, smartphones were everywhere in 2010. The Instagram appeared, and the cloud was sold as a concept, although that, maybe we can talk about the cloud later, because it's a funny thing to me. And then 10 years after, we got ChatGPT. So 2022, we got ChatGPT, generative AI, and who knows what's next. So what I'm trying to tell you is that within a really short period of time, we had to adapt. And it went so fast that we didn't ask any question, because we didn't have time to ask questions. It's like now everybody's jumping into AI, but nobody's asking, is this a good idea or a bad idea? It's just, no, it's time again to do a jump ahead, and it's time again to do it. And, don't forget about what happened 10 years ago, because now you need to run. And maybe now you're in your 30 and doing this adaptation, it is not very heavy. But remember that, since the 60 to the 2020 and 25 and 26, they were not only 30 years old. There were people that, they were 40, 50, 60. So for them to adapt probably was a little bit difficult, is more difficult. But, we all are adapting, and we are going so fast. And the point here is that all this adaptation, I don't recall anybody asking, saying, is this a good idea or should we do it? Just, it's the way it is, and we need to run for it. Couple of data for you to reflect on. Each wave goes faster. So Facebook, 2004, took 4 years and 6 months to reach 100 million users. Instagram 2010 took 2 years and 6 months to reach the 100 million users. TikTok 2017 took 9 months to reach the 100 million user. ChatGPT 2022 took 2 months to reach the 100 million users. So I would like to ask you, how long you think the threads took in 2023 to reach 100 million? You saw how fast things are going here. And, in 2022, took 2 months to ChatGPT to reach the 100 million. You have any guess how long it took to threads? Let's see if we get any answer. If we don't, I will tell you anyway. Wow, we see 7 days from Mama Ray, and then we see 5 weeks from Donna. Less than a month, 2 weeks from Razan. Okay, so you guys are close. It took exactly 5 days. So this is just to show you how fast the waves are going, and how developed, and it's this adoption of technology. So every wave, every change and adaptation takes energy away from us, and it hides its own outcomes. And AI is here now, and we don't know what the outcomes of actually that is. The first thing that we're screaming is that we're going to lose our jobs. It's going to take over our jobs. I think AI is way more than that. And it's really funny that such a powerful technology is being used as a browser nowadays, and people have not understood it yet. What could be done with it? So what got replaced? So we trade off being bored, so use imagination to reach out. We feel something is, we feel that, at least in the past, we would tell things to our friends, and so we will share our moments with our friend. Now we post it, and that is, something that kind of lost is intimacy. And then we do not have like a lot of questions anymore. So many times before we even we create the question, we actually look it up for it, and we lose very quickly interest. This is just a little example of what's happened, and what are the little things that we are giving up every day. So I like to say that you don't train the algorithm is training you. We can talk about this at the end with the Q&A, because I have my own ideas about algorithm and how do they work, and maybe many things you are not aware of, or you are, but it will be interesting to talk about. So going back to my story, sorry, I'm too fast. Why did I develop Digital Zero? So why am I interested? I came from technology. Why do I want to create something that give information to people, have family that are struggling with technology, and children addicted to it, and why that? So I have now a 15 years old daughter, and thank God, in my house, we never, because I was coming from technology, we never wanted to have too much of it in the house. And when she was about 13, she started to ask us for a mobile phone, and funny enough, we found the way to not give it to her, and we actually bought, like, I know it's funny, it's like we bought like a little kid telephone that was actually like it looked like a watch, but and for some years she was using that, but then it was evidently for a child, and she didn't want to use it anymore. So at one point she went, she started high school, and she was going to high school by herself, and we decided she need to have some way of communicating to us. So we gave her a really basic phone with a minimum internet, and that an application that could be used only on a certain hour. So there was parent control on the application, and no social media at all. Then at one point she came to me and she told me that she felt stupid. And I say, why you feel stupid? And she said, well, because when we have our lunchtime and everybody's talking about things that I do not understand, I don't know what to say, and I stay there and I don't talk, and I don't share anything because I don't know what they're talking about. And at that point, I tried to understand her, and we came to an agreement. I say, okay, so if it's important to you to see what's happening, within the group or whatever, we can have a share account in Instagram. And actually, our mother had a share account with her, and really limited time to look at it. Okay, so she was super happy. So she started to feel that she was part of something. So she will have her 30 minutes a day that actually were 30 minutes divided by different application, and so very little time to actually, and of course not posting anything. And then at a certain point we realized that a mobile phone was actually designed and to turn off at a certain hour, so she could not use it at night. And after the 30 minutes of Instagram, let's say, she would not be able to do anything with it. And then we realized that as it was a share account, that our friend were posting things, that she was liking those things at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m. And then I remember my partner telling me, what's happening here? I mean, I thought the phone was not working. I said, well, the phone is not even in her room. How is it possible? So in the end, we talked about it with her, and she explained to us that she has given her account to a friend to like things in her behalf. And I asked her, why did you do that? And she explained to me something that I never knew before, and opened my eyes, and I felt so sorry for her, because she told me that the way we live socially with others is completely different or the way they live their social life. And within groups of people, the fact that you are not liking a story of somebody that is in your close group of people is not reassuring that you like that person. So you need to keep liking the story of people, because otherwise they feel that there is something wrong between you and them. When I realized this, I was like, I couldn't believe it. I mean, they completely redesigned social interaction to a level that not putting a like can compromise a relationship. This was my big eye opening and awakening, and that is where I was like, oh my God, I work in technology for so long, and look at this. I'm figuring it out because I'm lucky enough, because she's talking to me and she's telling me. But how many parents do not know this and do not know how to handle this? And that where when I started to realize that I wanted to do something about it, and I decided that Digital Zero needed to exist. So in nutshell, we have automated affections, and is what I just explained to you. So just for you to understand a little bit better, just when you receive a message on WhatsApp, sometimes you read it on read. So you look at it in the preview, but you actually don't read it because you need to. Maybe you don't want, you pretend that you didn't receive it, or you pretend you don't want to answer, you want to think about it. So you are also affected by these new rules. Just for you to understand, it's not only children, it's not only, you know, adults as well. So we're heading to the conclusion of this conversation, and what we do at Digital Zero is that we recreate environments, and, you know, attention is very important. What does it mean? That it means that the first thing to me is to make people understand that they're against the big giant corporation. They're not, you know, against a casualty, and that it is normal that they got there. It's not their fault, especially for parents. It's not their fault. They didn't know, and we take care of in re-establishing an environment, re-establishing timing, re-establishing the fact that we need to talk to each other and understand each other. So my last question to you, and, you know, we can get to the Q&A, is two things. First things is, you know, ask yourself where does your phone sleep tonight? In which place it's gonna sleep tonight, next to you or somewhere else? And then I would like you to do me a favor. So I would like to reclaim one empty moment this week and meet yourself again. And that moment doesn't include, for sure, this. The moment is not working with the headphones on. The moment is just you and yourself, and it's something that nobody that can take away from you, or, you know, push you to do. It's really for you. And this said, I think we can go to the question time. Miss Julie, hello.
Hello. Well, thank you so much for that talk. It's very, very interesting. I think it's given us a lot of things to talk about. I see that Donna has said something. She said many are becoming desensitized from reading body language, fine tuning their sixth sense and verbal communication. As parents, we're responsible for nurturing this with their children. I think she's made a good point there. What about you?
No, she definitely made a good point. Of course, you know, here is we for sure. It's not like, you know, all the parents were amazing before technology.
Good
You
point.
know, I just want to start this out. Like, so we're not going to put everything in the bucket. You know, there are horrible parents, and there will be horrible parents with or without technology. Okay, that's for sure. And that's it.
I mean, while I was listening to you, I did think, to be totally honest, oh my goodness, how strict were you? Like
With my
30,
daughter, I mean.
yeah.
So I tell you a secret, because I know this was coming, and, you know, they will call some kind of association to. It's like this
Sorry.
horrible parent is
Yeah.
taking all the technology from their child. No, first of all, you know,
Child line, let me call
that's
child
me and
line.
my partner, so it's not only me. So it's equally, and she's very smart, and she knows things before I do, for sure. But the reality is that what we decided to do is that every time we didn't give her technology, we will give in exchange a book. So we filled her life with books, and she could choose any kind of books. I must say, I spent a fortune. I mean, a telephone would have cost me way less, but she developed this capability of reading very fast. Now she can read a book like this in a couple of hours, and she really wants it. Isn't she? So we try to give some food for her mind, more than anything else. And I keep telling her, you know, one day you're gonna thank me for it. And I'm not sure she believes that right now, but, you know, I hope that she will understand that, you know, we gave something that is so precious.
I mean, I do agree with you there, but I do see her point of view as well, because the way relationships are formed and how connections with the younger generations are made, like online. So if you're not present and you're not commenting or liking or understanding like the sort of like, you know, the viral reel that goes out there, that for a child that is, it can exclude them from conversation and from groups. Like I remember when I first moved to Spain, what I didn't do when I came to Italy, but like I spent a lot of time trying to understand the typical like TV programs that people were watching, the typical things that they're repeating from viral things, and that was an important part for me to try and integrate into the culture. So I can see her point there. So like, what would you recommend for parents moving forward? Would you recommend they be as strict as you guys were? Or like, what do you see as a good sort of middle ground with that?
It's a personal choice. I mean, it's something that you need to decide because you are in charge of the education of your children. And what I usually tell to parents is that to certain parents that come to me and they tell me that they cannot handle their children anymore, that they have fights about technology and to the point that there are confrontations and things like this. What I tell them is very simple. Is that what about you? What is your relation with technology? Where is your phone where you're telling them to put their phone down?
Yeah.
What are you doing? That's question number one. Question number two, I understand that it's convenient for many parents, and I'm not blaming them. That sometimes you need to have a quiet moment, you need to do your things, which is okay. But handing on a phone to a child uh, seems to be a good idea because you don't see the immediate effect of it. But I would ask you, would you give him like a glass of whiskey, or would you give him a cigarette? Because we know the effect of that. The issue here is that we have been not exposed because there are not enough data yet about the result of the extent use of certain technology, and when those will come out, and you saw there are a lot of big trials right now with Facebook and other companies that Facebook just agreed to pay billion of dollars in a settlement because social media are addictive. And my question to parents that you want to have an addicted child, no matter on what you want to have a child that is addicted. If he's not, you need to start from rule number one, which is the most uncomfortable thing is to say no.
Yeah, but I think you just said something really important there as well, or that's what popped to my mind while you were speaking. Do you want to have an addicted child? Like most people are going to say no, but like maybe the parents need to reflect themselves and what they're modeling for their children. Now, you mentioned before about algorithms. So would you like to explain a little bit more?
Yeah,
Um,
algorithms are a weird thing. So just to understand better what an algorithm is, basically is a piece of software. An algorithm does something when something else happened. I give you an example of an algorithm. I go really basic here. When you are booking a flight, they don't allocate a seat normally. And if you don't decide to pay, they allocate you the worst seat possible. And strangely enough, if you hate to stay in the aisle seat, they will allocate you the aisle seats. If you hate the middle seat, they will allocate the middle seat. And if you hate the window seat, they will allocate the seat. So the algorithm, they collect data, they learn that what you like or what you don't like, and then they make sure in that case that you will not get what you want, and you will probably try to buy a better seat. This is a simple example of how an algorithm works. The reality is that algorithms are black box, so no company will ever let you look into that algorithm and the way it works, and that creates a big problem in They can be biased, they can be racist, they can be misogynist, and nobody will ever find out because you will never be able to look in the black box. I'll give you another example. When you apply for a job and you send your CV and you get immediately rejected, why you get immediately rejected? Maybe the algorithm didn't, they set up filters and your age was not the age they wanted, your ethnicity is not what they wanted, your gender is not what they wanted. That's being biased. That is being discriminating people, and there is no way of looking into this box because there is not a law that forced companies to show you how they build it and what are the criteria. And we are exposed to this on a daily basis. For example, in the job, I know a lot of people that say, I send 100 CV, 200 CV, 1000 CV, I never get answers. I do not understand why. Before I was sending it, I would immediately get, responses, and now I don't get it. Well, guess what? Those CV are not, they've been read not by a human, they've been read by a machine, which in this case is AI, and that then the actual HR or the employer will receive only what the criteria that they put in. So that's to me, algorithm it's we have a little bit.
I mean, you can work out a little bit about what the algorithm is about by looking at the type of content that gets more views, which tends to be things that provoke reaction, so the rage bait. And I've done an experiment myself where I set up a new Instagram account and followed accounts that are completely against my own beliefs or values and things like this to see the different reality that I would get. And oh my goodness, it's incredible how two people sitting in the same room on the same application can be fed a completely different reality through the algorithm.
Absolutely, and a perfect example is what happened with Cambridge Analytica. I mean, that was a direct influence in an election, and it was something that people don't talk about anymore. But that was, they basically were profiling people and feeding them the thing that they want them to see. So if you were, a left, right, or right, they will feed you and make sure that you only get those information, and that is I don't think is honestly is legal. In fact, it was not legal, and they actually shut down the company and everything.
Yeah, but loads of companies are still doing very similar things to what Cambridge Analytica did, like data scraping and all the things that they can work out from the posts you like, the posts that you hover over more, and things. It's that sophisticated for the micro targeting and profiling of who you are. And like, as you know, we know that the aim of the apps is to get you to keep you on them as much as possible,
Right.
and feed you adverts now and again, and that's what you think it's free. It's not free because it's all for a reason.
Absolutely.
And so, like, if they're trying to keep you on there, they want to know what you're interested in, and that's what they're going to feed you more and more of. So
it's definitely like that, and AI is going towards that direction as well. So you will see pretty soon that AI will start to propose you to organize your trip, to find you a cheap flight ticket and things like
that's
that.
good. I
AI,
need that.
well, remember that the AI is being trained, and it's not necessarily is a machine learning that is trained by somebody with certain criteria. So it doesn't really mean that it will propose you the best deal possible. It's the deal that you consider to be the best. It's very different, and it's a thin line there. But as AI is not making much money right now, and there are huge investment in it, they will have to change the formula pretty soon. The free formula will be overloaded with advertising for sure, because otherwise.
Well, I mean, but it's already not free. They're already, they launched it for free, and you've always got to be suspicious of anything that anybody gives you for free. If it's for free, then you are, the product.
Well, it was training. When it was really free, they were training it, so they needed to train it, and that was the reason why they put it free.
And
Now
to
that,
collect your data as well, though.
of course, and I'm very surprised. I was talking with somebody that told me that they put all their financial data inside of AI. Yes,
No.
yeah, because it's helping me to do my account. And I was like, great, you really understood how it works.
I mean, this is really why I think a lot of the project that you are doing is so important, because as you said during your session, like the world has changed so fast and so quickly that it's so hard for people to keep up, especially, if you're older than a millennial. It's particularly difficult because you did not grow up with the internet and with smartphones. So understanding the implications is really, really difficult.
Right.
And that's why, all of us need more education around this, and everything that we're doing, and we're like, oh great, I can talk to ChatGPT about all my problems.
Right.
Like we're not sitting there asking why, like why is this free, what are they getting from it, and then like why can I not put this down, why is it that I want to like get up in the middle of the night and ask a question, or like scroll or see what's happening, or why can't I put this phone down? As you're saying, with the dopamine and the sort of, it's trained to be addictive, like all the work that you're doing, I think is so important. So I do really wish you the best of luck with that. We have also Francesco who has said, we have Donna who has said, adapting is so important and there has to be a healthy balance. We have to move with the times, but it doesn't have to replace family time as much as it does.
Absolutely.
And then Francesco has said to you, great presentation, Augusto. I really like the muting notifications and using grey screen for the evening. So it discourages using the phone, for example. Also getting offline, hobbies and meeting friends. Yeah, muting notifications definitely is really useful. What was the grey screen thing? Can you remind us of what the grey screen?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you mean by the gray screen. Maybe you can tell us.
Okay. And then we've got Donna. May I ask a question? How important is it for others to be better role models? Good question.
Oh God, how to be? I think it's super important. I mean, honestly, I personally think it's very, very important. Although, I mean, everybody has their own history. They all do, they have their own path and they do their own things. I mean, I give an example. I saw parents, really pushing their children to stay more on the net to become influencer.
Ooh.
And there was somebody that I was very close to us that we knew, and then the child actually did it, and now has lost a little bit the ability to not be present, so it's always online, so offline but online. So you have all kind of people, and to them that works.
But what you're saying as well, I find highly worrying. Encouraging your child to be an influencer, like, I don't know, because like would open a whole other debate here about sort of internet influencers and sort of narcissism and like the psychological damages
Right.
that can occur through, like putting yourself out there and trying to like be a internet star. But unfortunately, we don't have a time for that.
Right.
Though, if anybody is interested in finding out more, how can they get in contact with you?
So they can go to digital zero, all lowercases.org, and there is a QR code here that you can use as well to go there. And also you can write there is a contact there, and you can write to me through that. One thing that I want to make sure that people understand is that the way we design Digital Zero, it has an entry point that is free. So it's very relevant that people understand that if you're willing to do the work and you're putting yourself there, it is actually accessible to everybody. And I didn't want it to be accessible only to people that could pay for it, and I decided to make it's called the foundation level, where you can actually do the assessment for free and start to do things with the guide that we share and everything that is available by yourself. You just need to put the work into it and the energy to say, okay, I want to, to do something. And then if you need help, we are there to help. So, with coaching and some guided program, but the entry is always free. Just
That's amazing. Can I just apologize for these weird colors that are just floating past me?
Is it disco time already or what?
Disco time. Exactly. Yeah, I've got a sort of thing that's outside and it reflects rainbow colors onto me at a certain time of day, and we've reached that time of day. But I see a lot of people are writing in the chat. For example, Francesco has said search grayscale in the settings on your phone or in the internet and set up yours. So I'm going to be doing that in the hour break that we have before the next session. And then Razan has said, thank you, Augusto. It was really insightful. And Donna, thank you. I could have asked a lot more questions. Well done. Well, please do get in contact with Augusto and ask your questions. Or if you're watching on replay, you can still write your questions in the comment section. And Augusto, I guarantee, will go and answer them, because if he doesn't, I'll tell him to do so. And then Nadine has said, very helpful presentation, Augusto. Lots of important information. Thank you. And then last but not least, we have, thank you, Augusto. It was a very insightful presentation. So excellent. And then now, just to remind everyone, we have an hour break, and then we will be back again with Theodora on her presentation on the future of artificial intelligence, changing social expectations, and a new generation entering the workplace. So that leads nicely from yours. So I hope people will take our break to check out what grayscale is, to check out a little bit more about Digital Zero, ask you more questions, and then come back and join us in an hour's time.
Thank you so much for having me. Really, it was really great time together, and I'm so happy that people enjoyed. And if you like, reach out and at digitalzero.org, and we can talk.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.